Carrington. It's dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out. Good evening, race fans. Welcome back to the All-Star Intermission, sponsored by Team Goon Squad. Today, we're at the virtual Road Atlanta for the Street Stock Showdown and All-Star Intermission. We've got no damage, no cautions. We've got a broadcaster, we've got race control, and we've got a whole lot of action as tonight our competitors will be taking a very special line to put on the absolute best show here for our fans at home. Thank you all so much for tuning in, supporting the broadcaster, the league, and all of your favorite racers. Let's take a look at tonight's grid. Starting on pole, it's Blaze Anders in the number 8, Alex Penn, the road racing phenomenon, starting second. James SoundCloud Silvers in the number 21 starting third. Joseph Race Control shouldn't be on track. Penn in the number 24 starting fourth. Casey All-American Arca Carrington starting fifth. Garrett the world famous Australian McAllister starting sixth. Michael Vandermeet starting seventh. Tyler Millette the Cannabis starting eighth in the 27. And you've got Andrew Neri, a.k.a. Grace's husband. He will be ninth on the grid. Let's get ready to get this party started. It's going to be 25 laps here at Road Atlanta as your pole setter, Blaze Andrich, has absolutely terrible internet here today. He's going to have to kick his brother off of Fortnite if he wants to make it through the duration of today's main event. Again, this is round 2 of our 3-part intermission series. Last week we were at Phoenix Rally. Today, Road Atlanta short with a custom line. We're running through 10A and 10B. And then next week we go to Wild West Motorsports Park, where we're going to take some big old heavy machines and huck them in places they absolutely do not belong at what is pretty much a motocross track. Standing start here today as the field blinking in and out. Andrich having big problems. It looks like that may be Penn as well, the number 24 machine with bad internet. But man, oh man, Andrich has problems. We get ready to start it here at Road Atlanta, 25 laps, as we've got 9 of the best street stock racers in the world making their way out. The lights dim and away they go in a blaze of smoke and glory. That's not just Tyler Millette's machine with the smoke, it is the entire of the field. As already we've got 3-wide action going into turn 1. We've got somebody very far off the outside line, excuse me. What is happening here? Oh, they're bumping, they're grinding, and they're racing hard. Alex Penn takes over the race lead from Blaze Andrich. The road racing phenomenon has no idea why we would run such an unprofessional event, but he's going to charge hard down the hill in front of the spectators here at Road Atlanta. It's Andrich, Silvers rounding out second and third, McAllister and Carrington running fourth and fifth. But let's see, Andrich still with a major blinking issue. Silvers, McAllister, and Carrington round up this second pack of the field as everybody's bumping and grinding. So far, we're keeping things pointed forward in the right direction, but we're going to pan back to your race leader, Alex the Phenomenon Penn, as he's going to lead the field into 10A for that alternative Joker line. Let's see what's going to happen for our fans at home. That's right, no brakes into 10A, hucking it through the gravel, through the Formula Drift section of the raceway, and then back out onto the track, chased by Andrich and Silvers. We heard a little bit of commotion going on back there towards the rear. Not sure where that was, as it looks like the field got through relatively unscathed. But watch this, Alex Penn's been taking an alternative line through 1 in practice and qualifying, trying to get that dirt underneath that street stock machine and get a little bit of traction pointing in the right direction. Andrew stays right in tow. We're going to cycle back a little bit further where you got Vandermeet. He's chasing down Tyler Millette in the Cannabis back, number 27, also chased by Andrew, Grace's husband, Neri. Vandermeet hucks it over the hill, able to hold on to it though. Let's check out what's going on from Tyler Millette's point of view in that number 27 Cannabis. He's up 3 spots so far tonight, trying to chase down the world famous Australian Gareth McAllister. Oh my goodness, what an exciting race here today. Looks like we've got a pass as Andrew Neri takes over the 6th place spot from Michael Vandermeed. Gareth McAllister looking for a way around SoundCloud Silvers as they go side by side into 10A. Who's going to yield here? The answer is neither one of them, as Silvers cuts the track even more egregiously than was planned for our competition. So he will hold on to the spot from the world-famous anime-backed Gareth McAllister heading down the old turn 12. Alex Penn still leading this race. He's about a half-second advantage over Blaze Andrich. Andrich has about 2.8 over Silvers with 23 laps left to go here. We're going to check in on Alex Penn, your race leader. Still having a great race here today, but we've got more action going on towards the back as Vandermeed has taken over the position from Neri once more. These cars have no business out here, Roland. Again, these are the dirt street stocks, a machine that typically is only known for going left and being off the asphalt surface. We are taking street stocks boldly where no man has gone before. As Vandermeed starts to extend his legs over Neri, McAllister has a whole lot of pressure from Tyler Millette, the number 27 machine, as he is trying to catch up to SoundCloud Silvers in the number 21. Now, drivers have been instructed to hold the right side of the gravel pit here and complete the Formula Drift section, as you see Silvers, again, egregiously cutting the course. But Karma has bit Silvers quickly. Millette gets involved, has nowhere to go. Luckily, damage is off for this special event, so it will be McAllister works his way up into podium. His Australian brethren have to be proud of the young man down under. As we were told, McAllister's training resume for this event was 36 hot laps and 34 hours of watching Crocodile Dundee on repeat, not having any issues as he works his way up into third. But now the question is, will Millette be able to capitalize? As Joseph Penn has a big moment as well in that same section. Tries to get the car pointed back in the right direction, does so. As you're again watching the battle for third between McAllister and Millette up front, it's still Penn and Andrich fighting hard with about a 4/10 second gap between the two drivers. As we're going to once more go back on board with Tyler Millette diving down the backstretch here at Road Atlanta in that alternative line. Excuse me, I can't even talk. It's so exciting to watch what they're doing. And Millette finds tons of time, but has the check up behind McAllister. So McAllister will live to fight another day here. Up front, it's still Penn and Andrich. Where is Andrich? There he goes. He is in and out. As Penn pushes very wide, will Andrich have the position? Blinking more than a nervous crackhead that's been pulled over. Penn is going to do his best to fend off the young driver, Blaze Andrich. Still a 3/10 of a second gap, but closing rapidly, less than 2/10 coming down the hill into the S's and then the right before the spectator hill at Road Atlanta. Everybody's on their feet. The fans are going wild as we're about to have a side-by-side battle for the lead. Let's see if Andrich can keep the draft. It's going to be tough with that car being all over the place. Joseph Penn appears to have retired in the number 24 machine, taking an early visit back to the hauler. Penn having a fantastic race here today. It looks like Andrich maybe carrying a little bit more speed through that final section, but Penn diving down the hill extends that gap back to about 6/10. We've got another battle unfolding between SoundCloud Silvers and All-American Carrington, as this will be the battle for the prestigious 6th place. Carrington, I'm not sure if that's a mud-painted scheme or if he's just absolutely hammered that number 9 machine, but he's got SoundCloud right over the rear bumper here, diving into turn 1. Both of these competitors normally race the All-American ARCA Series that we broadcast on Friday. Coming out here trying something a little bit different, as it appears Vandermeed comes back down pit road. Maybe he's calling it early. We get word from Joseph Penn that he's back to pit road and retiring back to race control booth, where it's a little bit easier on the heart and body here at Road Atlanta, especially with that alternative line. Drivers having their tooth fillings knocked out over the curbing into 10A and 10B. And now we've got a three-way battle for fifth. It's Neri, Carrington, Silvers all running in tow here. As it looks like Silvers has lost a fair amount of time diving down into 10A, so it looks like Carrington and Neri will have a little bit of a reprieve. And no! Carrington has absolutely wadded it up in the number 9 machine, tagging that inside wall, absolutely murdering himself here. He gets it pointed in the right back direction, keeps going forward, go back to the battle for third. It's still McAllister and Millette running within a second of each other, but they've got to be careful as Neri Silvers have really gotten the pace down here, improving lap after lap, as it looks like Silvers may have had another big oopsie-daisy, as they call it in professional terms. That's going to be in turn 1, maybe allowing Carrington to capitalize and once again battle for 6th with the SoundCloud rapper of James Silvers. Both of these drivers not used to any sort of long green flag runs. The lack of cautions has really affected their psyche coming into today. So it's interesting to see how they get things figured out without the caution being flown. Looks like Silvers dips a wheel on the outside through the cut through here at Road Atlanta. It's going to be interesting to see if Carrington can capitalize. It is now a 2/10 gap coming down the hill. Carrington has the draft, looks to the outside line, the right side of the track, going up into 10A. But Carrington, who's following the line, or at least was, he says, you know what, if Silvers going to take that alternative line, I'm going to follow him in hot pursuit. As Silvers extends the gap to about 1 second. The good thing with these street stock machines, if you go off track, you probably get just a little bit faster over the duration of the run. As we check back in with Tyler Millette, he's got Andrew Neri getting a little bit closer as the run progresses. Neri up 4 spots, now running 5th on track, 18 laps left to go. As Alex Penn is starting to check out over Andrich, he's got almost a 2-second gap over the number 8 car. Neri has a big off track at the cut through. That's going to really hurt his momentum coming down the backstretch here today, as now Millette has extended that gap to about 1.8 seconds. Carrington has gotten around Silvers, who's having a bit of a problem there. Another driver. Now the thing is, these are dirt machines, so while the tires may not necessarily wear here today at Road Atlanta, they will get very hot, very greasy. And it's going to get a little bit tougher for the drivers to hold on to. Now the dirt sections actually give these guys a chance to cool off their tires. But then when they come hucking it down turn 12 and letting it all hang out, it just keeps building up heat. And it will get tougher and tougher as the run progresses. Already ill handling cars just getting worse. Almost reminiscent of the days of motorcycle racers when they go out on wet tires. They'll start looking for a puddle to go through. That's the same thing our dirt racers are doing here today. As now we've got a battle for 6th really shaping up as Silvers and Carrington go side by side. Carrington yields the position. Silvers takes over the 6th place spot. And just fantastic racing all across the course here today. Up front, Alex Penn still holds about a 2nd advantage over Blaze Andrich, while they have McAllister about 10 seconds back. So the field pretty spread out here today, except for Carrington and Silvers, bitter rivals charging into the track, the 10A together, absolutely lifting the tires off the ground, nose to tail. It is an absolute heated battle for 6th as they're nose to tail coming out of turn 12. Are we going to see Silvers use that bumper against Carrington? They're going to be side by side across the start-finish line. Looks like Silvers is going to have the line going into 10A, but we've seen Alex Penn huck it wide here and drift it into turn 1, using that dirt to carry a little bit more speed. But now Silvers will get about a 2nd advantage over Carrington, charging back up the hill into the bus stop. Still anybody's guess on where these drivers are going to finish here today. All sorts of excitement. You can't get this anywhere else, ladies and gentlemen. The All-Star Intermission Series always delivers. As we say that, looks like Andrich back within a half second of Penn. maybe kicked his family off the Roblox and Minecraft server, getting that blinking issue under control as Andrich is now charging hard towards the front. He can see the race lead within striking distance here, and he will do anything he can to dethrone Alex Penn. But no, it looks like Andrich had a big bobble and won. He's going to lose about a half second coming up the hill as the connectivity issues strike again. The commentator's curse hitting the number 8 machine hard. Andrich was trying his best to get up there and dethrone that number 7 aerial vanilla iRacing painted street stock machine of Alex Penn. Again, Penn, a real-life racing driver and kart racer, has no business out here in a street stock machine setup, but thankfully his racing experience letting him charge towards the front. But he's got Andrich and Hot pursuing that number 8 machine as they're going to be about 2/10 apart heading down 10A in tandem. Both drivers doing a great job sticking to the designated portion of track. It looks like Andrich maybe carried a little bit more speed again coming out from underneath the bridge, but with that bad blinking issue, it's really tough for him to make any moves here, as when he is blinking, he cannot see the other cars on track. So it makes it a lot tougher to decide where you're going to be able to make a move at. Andrich with another big bobble. He's going to fall about 2 seconds back, 2.5 seconds back from your race leader. As we check in on the world-famous Australian Gareth McAllister, still running third in that number 25 anime back street stock machine. But right as we say that, the commentator's curse is striking him hard and striking him deep, as now he's going to have pressure from Tyler Millette and the Cannon Boss back, number 27. And just like that, with 14 laps left to go, we've got a battle for third, the final podium spot. Let's see if McAllister can handle it, as Millette is all over the back bumper of the Aussie 25. Millette, going to be interesting to see if he sets up a pass on the downhill. It doesn't look like he has the run quite yet. He's about 4/10 back from McAllister. And McAllister will once again lead them charging into 10A. Andrich caught back up to within a second of Penn, so able to capitalize on his mistakes, keep charging forward. But has another bobble and loses just a little bit more time. As poor Andrich having a rough go with the connectivity issue. Meanwhile, McAllister has put about a 1.4 second gap back onto Tyler Millette, number 27 machine. Millette, I think a newcomer to street stocks in general, doesn't have a ton of road experience. Not sure what his off-road experience is. But finding out about the All-Star Intermission Series, since it was available to anyone in the Team Goon Squad Discord, as well as different leagues that we've had the pleasure of broadcasting for. Coming out, having a great time with friends, and just enjoying this for what it is, a great way for these racers to unwind during our off-season. Millette attentive on the gas through 10A, but look how much ground he makes, narrowly avoiding the tire wall, rolls back on the tires. And we're getting a in-car report from Tyler Watts that the drivers are complaining of tire wear with 12 laps left to go. That may be tire heat more so than tire wears. I don't believe the tires will actually wear down. But what they will instead do is get extremely hot, extremely greasy, like a $3 McDonald's wheel, and make it much harder to hold on to. Let's pan the camera back as we've got another battle for, I believe that's going to be 5th. Andrew Neri and SoundCloud Silvers are about to put on a show. Neri up 4 spots while Silvers is down 3. Let's see what happens here. They've got to be careful if they battle too long. Carrington's only about 1.4 seconds back. A single bobble from Neri or Silvers will allow Carrington to get in the mix, while just ahead of these guys, about 2 seconds ahead, you've got McAllister and Millette who are battling as well. So let's see what happens going into 10A. As Silvers, again, egregiously cutting the course, but Neri's going to block the door hard on that number 21. as Silvers goes way off track into the dirt to try and carry some momentum down the hill. As we got two great battles going on. We got McAllister and Millette battling for third. You've got Neri and Silvers battling for fifth. So despite the tire wear, despite the driver attrition, and despite taking these cars where they don't belong, still a lot of great racing to be had here today. As now Neri, he's getting within striking distance of Millette as well, so you may have a four-car battle for third shaping up, as Millette all over the back door of Gareth McAllister. Neri still about a second back, and he's got Silvers in tow. Who would have thought the field would start stacking up this late in the race? Now drivers starting to catch the draft of their competition. Millette still about 1 second back from McAllister. But now he's going to have Andrew Neri in hot pursuit, as now Neri is the one cutting the course egregiously. Tyler Millette tags the outside wall. He gets into it with, I believe, that may have been Silvers. Tries to get it pointed in the right direction, and Silvers, and I think that's going to be Carrington. Bumping and grinding, the slide job here at Road Atlanta. Silvers takes over fifth. Andrew Neri's extended his gap to about 2.3 seconds, and now Neri, he's within 1 second of Gareth McAllister. 10 laps left to go. The only thing hotter than the tires are drivers' temperatures at this point into the race. We've seen Silvers and Carrington heavily leaning on each other, and we might be seeing more of the same. Carrington with red mist in his eyes, trying to catch up to the number 21 machine and take over that fourth place spot once more. Fifth place spot, excuse me. Meanwhile, Silver's trying to put his head down. He wants to catch up to Neri in fourth. And Neri, he's working extremely hard to get up to third and battle for the podium. Blaze Andrich still with bad internet problems. Not sure what happens as it shows him in the lead ahead of Alex Penn with another massive blink. So I'm not sure what's going on here with live time and scoring. If maybe Andrich hit the old lag switch and comes out in front of Penn somehow with 9 laps left to go. But we're going to pan the camera back a little bit further as look at this battle. It's Neri, Silvers, Carrington, all battling hard for that fourth place spot. A 3-car battle. Carrington runs up the inside of Silvers. Silvers using the track limits plus about 4 feet. Gets a little bit unsettled. He will lose some time behind Carrington. Now is Carrington going to be able to put a strike onto Neri? 9 laps left to go. It's Andrich, Penn, McAllister running 1, 2, 3. Something has happened though, as it shows, there we go, Alex Penn still able to catch up to Andrich. And both drivers absolutely hugging these machines, but we can't look away from Neri, Carrington, and Silvers. The 3-car battle. Now watch this. Carrington's been running the line true to heart for the duration of this event, as Silvers and Neri have been a little bit more liberal with their line choice. And no, Carrington's going to pay back the favor. He dives up the inside line. Oh, Neri tags the outside wall. So Carrington will take over 4, Silvers 5th, and Neri now in 6th. A constant back and forth here today. As now we've got a battle for third. Gareth McAllister has slowed down the number 25 machine, so it's going to be McAllister, Carrington, Silvers, as well as Neri, all battling for that final podium spot with 8 laps left to go. Oh, this is going to be exciting as McAllister, Carrington, Silvers all nose to tail here. Now McAllister, he sends it sliding around. That's the opposite of a slide job. We're going to go 3 wide here at Road Atlanta. Silvers takes over the 3rd place spot. Carrington right in tail. Let's see what McAllister can do. If we're going to see a big crash, now is the time. As Carrington and Silvers side by side, both egregiously cutting the planned track. McAllister staying true to the surface, and Silvers and Carrington get into each other. My oh my, how things are getting wild here today. So now it's a battle for third between Carrington and Silvers, once again side by side. Silvers on the inside line, Carrington on the outside. Silvers sends it drifting into turn one. Carrington tries to hold on the outside line right on that corner panel of the SoundCloud number 21 backed Silvers. And we're going to be side by side once more through the S's. There's no way this ends well as they're bumping, they're grinding. Cones are getting sacrificed to the racing gods as Carrington gets punched to the inside line. We're going to go 3 wide once more down the hill. 3 wide again as Neri gets tapped by Carrington. Course limits out the window. It's every man for himself as now it's going to be McAllister back into third. Silvers right in tow. Oh, what's going to happen here today? Right behind him, Carrington and Neri battling hard for the 5th place spot. They want to catch back up to McAllister and Silvers, hoping there's an incident going into 10A. Odds are it's looking good to happen. McAllister staying true to the line while everybody else just cutting egregiously. McAllister may have given up a podium spot, but he is first in our heart, running true to the line set forth by Race Control. While it seems like most other drivers have completely thrown it out the window here today. As we were watching McAllister now about 1.5 seconds back from James Silvers in third, but he's got Carrington and Neri in hot pursuit. These 3 drivers have been on a fantastic show all day long. We've got 6 laps left to go. Passing the spectators here at Road Atlanta. Looks like Neri had a bit of a bobble, allowing Carrington and McAllister to get some time. That could be the greasy tires we were talking about earlier. Grabbing a downshift to try and help that machine rotate. Maybe try and keep some heat out of the tires, as it looks like McAllister and Carrington are looking for another shape-up. Down into 10A, SoundCloud Silvers has extended his gap to about 1.6 seconds over the world-famous Australian. And there we go, everybody's cutting the track. Everybody in tandem using all the suspension plus 6 inches of travel. Spines have been compressed, teeth have been rattled. Insurance premiums at an all-time high in the closing 5 laps here at the All-Star Intermission season. Up front, it's still Andrich, Penn, and now Silvers in third. But man, keep an eye out as McAllister has gained almost 4/10 of a second that last time by. Again, track limits completely out the window here today. Let's see, does the Aussie number 15 have the time, number 25, excuse me, to catch up to the 21 of SoundCloud Silvers in these closing laps? As up front, we still have a battle for the lead, with Andrich still leading Alex Penn around, but only a quarter of a second separates these 2 drivers after 21 laps completed. When are we going to see Penn make a move here on the young number 8 driver? As there it is, Alex Penn takes over the lead as Andrich pushes wide in turn 1. Now, as a reminder to how quick these guys have been, they are a full 22 seconds over Silvers. And Silvers is about to have company as McAllister has closed the gap to 0.8 of a second. As he is going to work hard to get up to number 21 and put that Australian back to number 25, Anime Machine, back in podium contention. McAllister driving like a man possessed here today. But all eyes watching with bated breath as we get ready for the 10A showdown. McAllister about 0.6 off of Silvers. It'll be interesting to see how much time he gains here, as again everybody has started taking more and more liberties with these track limits. Let's see what they do going into 10A. It's Silvers in third, McAllister fourth. They have completely given up on the allotted track limits, just cutting more and more as it runs on. And look at that, now you got a battle for 5th as well between Neri and Carrington coming down turn 12, crossing the start-finish line. We've got 3 laps left to go and everything's still up in the air. Penn and Andrich still 0.6 apart, but look at this. We've got a pass for third as Silvers has appeared to have binned it in turn one. Let's take a look for our fans at home to see what happened to SoundCloud. Just cooks it in too deep, grabs a little bit of dirt, and sends that Beef Jerky 21 careening around, allowing McAllister to take over third place. McAllister now has about a 4-second advantage, but keep an eye out as now Andrew Neri, Casey Carrington will be battling for fourth as Silvers has slipped back to sixth. 2 laps left to go. Alex Penn still out front with a very blinky Blaze Andrich right in tow. This is the closest battle on track. Andrich trying everything he can to get around the number 7 machine. So you've got the battle for the lead between Penn and Andrich, as well as the battle for, oh, look at this, side by side, leaning heavily on each other. Penn and Andrich not giving it an inch. They're bumping, they're grinding. So now Andrich takes over the lead once more. Meanwhile, Neri, Silvers, and Carrington are battling hard. Now Alex Penn, always a polite racer, but with how much glory is on the line for this All-Star Intermission, are we going to see that number 7 use that front bumper, using the old punt-to-pass technique to maybe make a move on Andrich here in the final laps, as this time by the white flag will fly. Now, you got to give credit to Andrich and Penn as well. They have been dominant this race, as well as following the outlined track guide, while the rest of the field completely throwing it out the window, just absolutely hucking it. The white flag is out for Blaze Andrich and Alex Penn. McAllister, about 23 seconds back from the leaders, is currently in the final podium spot. And Andrich pushes wide once more, allowing Penn to take over the lead through the S's into the downhill. Oh, what's going to happen here, ladies and gentlemen? This is for all the glory of the All-Star Intermission Series. Less than 2/10 separate Penn and Andrich on the final section of the raceway, making their way through the cut through down the backstretch here at Road Atlanta into 10A and 10B. Andrich looks for the inside line. Penn acts like he's going to maybe defend. And we're going to go too wide through the gravel trap. Penn checks up a little bit earlier, tries to go for a high low, and no, Andrich is upside down. Andrich at the very end has completely crashed, blinking in and out of existence. McAllister's looking good for a final second place spot. Andrich, is he going to sit there and think about his life choices, or is he going to take a tow? As yes, Andrich takes a tow back to pit road. So that's going to make Gareth McAllister. Casey Carrington will round out our podium. Out of nowhere, the world-famous Australian racer Gareth McAllister brings home a second here at the All-Star Intermission. Casey Carrington gets third, and Alex Penn will be our winner here today. Absolute madness here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a quick break, get our drivers up into the waiting room for our podium interviews. But what a bloodbath of a night here, ladies and gentlemen. As we're getting our drivers up into the waiting room, we've got Alex Penn taking a well-deserved victory lap, really bringing it home here right at the end. But let's go ahead and get our drivers up here into the waiting room for their podium interviews. Up first, we've got Casey All-American Arca Carrington coming out of nowhere in the number 10th, bringing home a podium. Now, Casey, we know you're not quite used to the long green flag run, so how is that sitting in the car this long tonight without any of our regularly scheduled breaks that we've come to expect?
Yeah, man, I'm worn out. That was so much fun. I jumped in here with like 1 minute before the race started, no practice, and that was just an absolute blast. I can't remember the last time I was laughing while racing on here. That was whew, I don't even know what to say.
It was a lot of fun, very exciting. We know it's definitely a little bit different than everybody's used to. But most importantly, how is this going to translate into your big race tomorrow at Talladega? What type of cross training is going to help you win back to back, or at least get podium back to back 2 nights in a row?
Well, I mean, avoiding wrecking cars, that's always good training for Talladega. So that's really about the only thing that translates. I mean, these things are like driving a bull.
Well, you looked great out there. Right as you said that, we show you bouncing all the way through the air in 10A and 10B. So you guys put on a show. Carrington, before we let you sign off and celebrate with the hooligans, who would you like to give a shout out to that's cheering you on?
You for putting this on and broadcasting and everything. Joseph for doing race control after I killed him on lap 1, and then all those fools I was racing with all race.
Well, well done tonight. Looking forward to more from you in the future, and we wish you the best of luck tomorrow, my friend.
Thank you.
Up next, we've got the world-famous Australian, the anime-backed number 25 machine of Gareth McAllister, bringing it home in the second spot, seemingly out of nowhere. It looked like you were kind of locked into third, and then all of a second, you find yourself on the second highest spot here on the podium. How are you feeling right now?
I am feeling amazing. I'm shaking all over. It's just, it was a crazy race and just filled with hopes and dreams.
Well, hopes and dreams seem to have been crushed by a lot of different drivers able to bring it home. What type of preparation did you do come in today? We know recently you finished a 12-hour charity event. How did that translate to going around in a dirt street stock wide open in a place it truly does not belong?
Well, to be honest, it actually helped quite a bit because I learned that it's more about throttle control, and the car really got loose a lot around some of those corners. So the throttle control kind of helped me in there, and I was pretty lucky with some of the people, aka Silvers, spinning around right in front of me with like 2 or 3 laps to go. So
Well, a great run out there, McAllister. We're always great seeing you out on track. Before we let you sign off, what fans, friends, family, sponsors, or full anime pillows would you like to give a shout out to for tonight's results?
I'd like to thank my grandma and grandpa, Bubby and Jetta. I'm sure they'll be watching. Also, shout out to all the guys that I play with on a daily basis. They're great people. And shout out to you and all the guys I race with, because it's just, I love these kind of things where you just put on random wacky races and just see what happens. It's absolutely awesome. So, yeah, thanks to you for putting it on, and can't wait to do next one.
Well, many thanks to you as well. Always great having the world-famous Aussie out on track. McAllister, we wish you the best of luck in the future, and congratulations on a hard-fought second here today.
Thanks very much, James.
And up next, the man of the hour, the go-kart race in CRV driving Alex Penn and the number 7 machine on the top spot. Alex, at any point in your life would you think you'd be winning such a prestigious event?
Not at all. I'm just real happy to be here.
Now, Alex, it looks like Andrich absolutely murdered himself on the tires there. We saw you try and pull a high-low maneuver. Do you think maybe you contributed to the loss of life for the young driver, the number 8, or was that just a little bit of bad luck for all parties involved?
I definitely did pinch him in. I'm not sure. I believe there was a little bit of contact. I was trying to pinch him in there to slow him down, but ended up slowing him down a lot more than I meant to.
Yeah, Alex, as we watched that in the slow motion instant replay, it looked like you both murdered his car and stole his lunch money as well as any Chuck E. Cheese tickets he may have had the back of the car. Are you going to have to send him some Kool-Aid jammers after today's event to maybe make up for any bad blood?
I think that might be in order, yeah. I'll definitely return the Chuck E. Cheese tickets as well.
Well done. Spoken like a true professional. Alex, before we let you sign off and celebrate, who would you like to give a shout out to? Fans, friends, family, maybe your parents for allowing you to stay up past your bedtime. Who allowed you to make this event and come out here and put on the top spot?
Definitely my parents, my grandfather who pays for all my racing stuff, Supercharged Karting, who sponsored me down in the All-American ARCA series, and my brother as well.
Awesome, Alex. Looking forward to seeing you next week at All-American ARCA. Congratulations on winning such a prestigious event here today, and we wish you the best of luck in all of your racing endeavors coming into the future.
Thank you.
And that was Alex Penn, the road racing phenomenon, bringing it home on the top spot after an absolute wild night here today at the All-Star Intermission Series. This was round 2. Next week, we go to Wild West Motorsports Park, where we'll be sending these street stock machines over motocross jumps, and we're going to send a lot of drivers home early as they crash into each other and put on a show for all of our fans at home. As always, on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, thank you all so much for tuning in, spending your evening with us, and we will see you same time, same place next week for our All-Star season finale. Have a great night, everyone.